can't you can't chat GPT everything. I mean, chat GPT has gotten to the point where people are not even thinking anymore for themselves. Put in the work. You gotta walk into the struggle sometimes. You gotta experience it. You gotta know what it looks like. If you don't know what struggle looks like when you actually inevitably hit struggle, you're not gonna know what to do. Yeah, I'm just making sure, man, you guys hear me about this one. Everybody wants that fast money. Everybody wants fast money nowadays, man. I think it's a social media culture. I really can't tell you 100%. But everybody wants the immediate satisfaction of additional gains in life. And it's crazy because this whole process for me in becoming a doctor was just a slow, steady pace of small wins, small setbacks, big wins, big setbacks. And it's crazy because people are always trying to figure out what the shortcut is. You know, how can I skip this? You know, how can I? And there's one component for sure where it's trying to take on a mentor and trying to figure out what's the best route, but it's also the best route for you. It doesn't mean that I can tell you how to skip your first, your second, your third year of medical school and jump immediately to fourth year. Sometimes you just got to go through the process. I think a lot of times the process teaches us so much more if we actually go through it, if we actually have that experience versus us listening to somebody else who's already been through it. Sure, some things you can skip over, right? It'd be beneficial, you're more efficient if you skip over some things. It's just the nature of the game. I mean, ChatGPT makes you skip over a lot, but what I'm saying is actually experiencing the process gives you so much more insight than a computer can ever give you. Actually experience walking day by day, getting your butt up, going to work, whatever that looks like for you, understanding that when you go down this road, you get this result. When you go down this road, you get this result, and actually experiencing for yourself it's a major game changer. I mean, if you even look at, if you're investing into the stocks, I mean, the 7%, 8% annual growth is nice. That's a nice growth. But people want 30, 40% returns on investments. I mean, if I go back to even the example of medical school, I put 16 years into the game. With the 4 years of college, I got 2 of a master's. I got 4 in med schools, 3 in regards to residency, and then of course 3 in cardiology fellowship before I actually even became a cardiologist. That's slow growth. And each time, each school, each year taught me a different lesson that made me into the physician, the cardiologist that I am today, and able to share my knowledge, share my experience with somebody else who's also going through the same path. Will I tell them how to avoid certain pitfalls that I went through? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to experience struggle. And I think a lot of times people are always afraid of struggle. You got to walk into it. You got to walk into the struggle sometimes. You got to experience it. You got to know what it looks like. If you don't know what struggle looks like when you actually inevitably hit struggle, you're not going to know what to do. I mean, you're not going to know how to pivot. When I was going through my 4 years of college and I didn't immediately get into a medical school, I had to pivot. It was a struggle that I went through. And yes, somebody gave me different options that I can do, whether it's working, whether it's studying more time for board exams, or whether it's getting a master's, going to a master's program, which is what I inevitably did. But ultimately, you have to make that decision, go through your struggle, and the goal is to come out better as a result. So I implore you guys to make sure that you embrace change, learn how to pivot, and of course, learn how to embrace those tumultuous times. Know how to embrace when things don't necessarily go your way, and how to move accordingly, how to become a better person going through the process of figuring out what's best for you. When I was in med school, everybody's study habits didn't always mesh well with mine. The timing of somebody studying short, this amount of hours versus somebody spending all day in the library, you have to find out what works best for you. And that takes just getting out there and just trying. I mean, you can't chat GPT everything. I mean, chat GPT has gotten to the point where people are not even thinking anymore for themselves, right? So once again, I implore you to take that leap of faith. Actually sit down, learn yourself, learn what your strengths, learn what your weaknesses are, lean into those strengths and focus and work on those weaknesses so you can become a better whole person. So, moral of the story, guys, stop being afraid of the slow growth. It makes you who you are today. You learn your lessons. When you're going back and you're telling other individuals who are trying to get to the same path, it doesn't even matter if you're an engineer, a plumber, doesn't matter, you have to be a doctor, just going through what you went through, being able to come out through the other end saying that I did this and this and this and this is where I am today. Not to brag, just to show people, what you had to go through. And I'm telling you, I recommend that you don't do this, but ultimately you got to find your own way. So for the person who is out there struggling, listening to social media, trying to figure out the quickest flip to life, I implore you to actually look within yourself and figure out what works best for you. And more importantly, guys, put in the work. All right, guys. Peace.